Good. Right, good morning everybody and welcome to the great contest of Shochu and Awamori, kindly sponsored from the Japanese Shochu and Sake Makers Association. So just very quick word for you to wish you good luck to everybody, and I'm really looking forward to see your best throwing technique and to taste all your creation represented by different styles of Shochu. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very interesting and diverse competition. So a massive thank you to our judges, Peter Dorelli, Miho Komatsu, and Ria, sorry, I can't remember how to pronounce his surname, I don't want to make a mistake, and Andy Collinson. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it to our host of today and introduce the first competitor. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for attending this beautiful event with JSS, UKBG. I think this is an opportunity to thank you, the JSS as well, because it's been a journey since the pandemic time, because we started our collaboration as UKBG with the Japanese sake and Shochu Makers Association back in the pandemic times, just to lift the spirits up of our bartenders across, the whole United Kingdom, and where we set up a lots of good classes. And then today is the day where we formalize a live event. We all get all together. We have 8 beautiful bartenders coming from across the country. And especially I would like to thank you, the guys like the guys like me. I had to face a very early morning and coming from very far from Newcastle, Exeter is not only London focus, but we have 8 wonderful bartenders. They're going to showcase their skills. First competitor to be at the stage today is Davide Capirola from the Londoner. Is the resident bartender of this venue, and Davide will be showcase his drink and get ready for the next 3 minutes. Big applause for Davide, please. Davide, I guess, is a quite expert bartender. He's got experience. I don't think it's your very first competition that you can handle your.
With so many cameras, though.
To be honest, my first time live stream as well, which is a bit awkward for me, but it's good too. But yeah. Are you quite nervous, excited? What you're feeling? What's your the question about your journey to prepare towards the competition?
No, so far, still trying to remain.
Perfect. Then you have 3 minutes to set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 3 minutes, we're going to count 12 minutes where you demonstrate your drink, your inspiration towards our wonderful judges as well. Just in a second, pick up the timing for you. Then 3 minutes basically starting from now.
Cool.
In the meantime, obviously, I would like to, while Davide is preparing, mention something about our judges as well. We have the legend himself, Peter Dorelli, which over 25 years of bartending at the Savoy, I guess. I guess American bar. And how many years bartending?
61.
61, ladies and gentlemen. It's
Only
such something. Only 61.
Preserves. In moderation, of course.
And then we go Miho, wonderful Miho Komatsu, which is our sake expert. And we have Ria, which is the representative of JSS, and obviously for UK and Europe. And sorry. And obviously we have Andy Collins from our wonderful WFA Wolf Association and Bible software.
One. Thank you.
Good. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Here I say, welcome to Ate the Londoner. For people who doesn't know me, my name is Davide. I'm the head bartender here at the Londoner at 8. Right. I would like to start saying that I'm honored to be part of this contest. JSS is the company looking after shochus and sake makers, and I'm in love for the category, for the spirits and the sake as well, and Japan of course, and that's why it's an honor for me to be part of this contest. Right, I fell in love for shochu about 8 years ago, when not many people know the category, the spirit. When I was working for a restaurant, they used to have huge selection, and now has even more of shochu and awamori. The thing that make me fell in love for the spirit was you can make it pretty much with any kind of raw material. That's very interesting fact, and also the fact that you can enjoy it in many different ways. Can be drunk straight up, with ice, on the rocks, of course, with sodas, with tea, juices, of course in cocktails. So it's a very, very, very versatile drink. Today I'm gonna use Toyonaga. Toyonaga is a rice-based shochu. It comes from Kumamoto. Kumamoto is an area in Kyushu. Is a prefecture in Kyushu, which is very famous, very well known for the quality of their rice. All the best rice comes from there, and yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it comes from Kuma area, Kuma Valley, which is also a geographical indication for shochu, for Kome shochu. So best rice shochu, let's say, coming from this area. They have Kuma River, which is one of the rapidest river in Japan, and the rice again comes all from there. They're using 100% organic Kuma Yamada Nishiki from Kuma. And okay, let's start making. Right, I'm going to throw only the shochu on its own, because it is very elegant, gentle, and subtle. But after you mix it with water, you open up all the flavors. It gets fruity and floral. Got this pear scent coming out very beautifully. So the drink itself is a highball style drink, and we're gonna mix it with homemade koji, shio koji, and green tea, sencha green tea. This is to give a lot of umami coming out from the koji and the tea. There we go. Fantastic. Right. Okay, this one it doesn't come. This one either. Here we go. So the idea to mix it with the green tea, it comes when I've done a master class with the owner of the distillery years ago, and he said that the perfect serve for him was drinking it with green tea. So let's see if it comes. So I'm gonna garnish it with pickled nashi pear. The nashi pear has been pickled with mirin and yuzu juice. Gives extra freshness. Let's see if it comes. There we go. There we go. And that's it. Thank you very much. Kampai.
Wonderful and legendary Dean Callan. And now I have all the pleasure to introduce a great bartender from Quayeno. Is from Montpellier, France, Viva le Bleu. And here we are, Hyppolite Civins. Hyppo, obviously, it's not his first competition. He's basically the last national competition, which he did quite well, managed to go to the final, and had a great experience in between all of us. Yes. Now, how are you feeling for today? Probably should be a little bit more used to it, a little bit
more used to it, but still quite stressed, to be honest, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but remember, it's good to be like that because it means you care about the competition. Then,
I think so then.
Ready to go? Are you ready, my friend?
I am ready, I think.
Adamo, yeah, 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah?
I start.
So, hello guys. First of all, let me thanks UKBG and GSS, for this amazing competition. I think these times they are amazing when we are competing because it allows us bartender to meet more industry colleagues. And I think after these 2 hard years that we had, and even more with the present situation, I think it's important that we still connect and engage with each other so we can grow. So I'm really pleased to be standing here in front of you today. Peter, Mio, Ria, and Andy, please welcome my presentation. So to start with, I'm going to start to talk about one of the reasons why we're here today at the Londoner, the Ma. Now, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really aware about this concept before, and for some of you, maybe you're not familiar yet with it, so let me talk you really quick to this concept. So the Ma in Japanese stands for a lot and yet nothing. Let me get into that. The Ma can be, for example, when you're making a hard decision in your life and you're taking a break from your thought and you are just giving your time some reflection so you can actually make the right decision. But the ma can also stand for this moment when you're having a break in your night out in between two cocktails and you realize you're having such a great time. So to schematize it, the ma is this moment in your life when you're pausing time that allow you to develop and grow yourself. Those past 2 years for me have been quite a illustration to this basically, because we're having a hard time and our job, our industry was in pause. But if I take it on a personal level, I mean obviously for the industry it has not been two of the greatest year, but if I take it on a personal level, I've been able to develop and grow myself some mixology skills that would have taken way longer in a usual condition of this madness of London's bar. And obviously, all of this together, that's what bring me here today in front of you to create my cocktail that I hope will match your standards. So the second reason why we're here today is for shochu or awamori. For me, the choice was made on the tasting. I've decided to pick the Miyazato Arusame Kari Awamori because for me it was tasting good in my cocktail basically. Now, just like the ma, some of you might not be familiar with what is awamori because it's quite like traditional Japanese spirits. So let me introduce you to this amazing, fantastic spirits. So awamori is made out of 3 ingredients: rice, water, and koji, which is mold. The rice is originated from Thailand because the demand in Japan is really high, so they need to produce it from Thailand and import it. The koji is also used in sake production. The difference is that the sake use the yellow koji when the Ryukyu distillers are using the black fungus. So this black koji is originated from Okinawa prefecture, where awamori is the traditional drink since the 15th century. Miyazato Distilleries opened in 1946, just after the World War, and is located in a tropical island in the Okinawa prefecture. So the difference between sake and awamori is that the first one is a product of brewery, just like you will find, for example, in the beers, when awamori come from distilling. After the distillation, this awamori is aged for 3 years in clay pots, not in barrel, like you might have seen in rum or whiskey, for example, and that will make a big difference because clay will not add any flavor to the spirits. So it will allow the spirits for these 3 years to develop completely itself and take a rich, full of flavor out of the base essences that was inside the spirit, basically. So awamori is also called island sake or shima. And when it's aged for over 3 years, it can be called kuzu, standing for old liquor. There used to be some 200 years old or 300 years old kuzu, but unfortunately, they got destroyed throughout the wars. So if ever one day you find yourself a 200 years old awamori, please text me because I would love to taste it, to be honest. So, for my drinks, I'm gonna put 60 milliliters of this awamori, the arizo curry, per serve. Got a bit of Parkinson myself. Sorry. There you go. Now, the second ingredients coming into my drink, and also the last ingredients, I really wanted to keep it simple, just like the ma, the less is more. So I wanted to base my twist on the cocktail on a really classic that is simple and that will honor the way that we drink usually in Japan awamori, only with ice and water. So I decided to base my twist on a gimlet. That will be the core of the front cocktail, and then I will add the garnish. So the second ingredient coming is porcini. Now, you may ask, why a European mushroom inside the Japanese-oriented cocktail? Well, basically, as we said before, awamori is made out of water, rice, and koji, which is a mold. So I decided that to honor these spirits, I will make another fungus to remind the other one. So to make a little hint and enhance this spirit, basically. Also, in French, porcini stands for cèpe, which is a really high popular mushrooms where I'm from, and I really highly appreciate it in the kitchen. So I decided to make a cordial out of it. Not too sugary, because it's just on a ratio of 0.5 sugar to 1 water. and then infused for 24 hours in sous vide with dried porcini. After that, I'm adding a bit of citric acid and some active charcoal and blending it all together, and there you have it. So the black porcini cordial. This per serve is going to be 35 milliliter. Of course, sir. Yes, I will give you a glass just at the end if you don't mind. Perfect. Thank you very much. So I'm now going to roll this cocktail. I'm not going to roll it too much. I'm going to just like a 3-4 time because I don't want it to over dilute as only 2 ingredients. But this technique will really help the porcini cordial to blend with the awamori basically. As you can see, the color is really black. That will really make like a nice distinction in this cocktail. Excuse my throwing skills, but you will see that throwing with Parkinson is not really the easiest things I will do. Thank you. I appreciate the supers. Thank you. So obviously I'm keeping my glasses until the last moment in the fridge so it can be at the right temperature when I'm going to serve them. Now guys, last coming up, it's gonna be a foam. So I made a foam out of the awamori that I'm using in the cocktail, ginjo yuzushu, as some of you might be familiar with, I believe, and sugar Easter. So this all together, you blend it, and for every 100 milliliter of liquids, you are adding 1 bar spoon of Easter sugar. That will create a nice edible foam that you will have on top. So basically, I decided to use this foam as a garnish because that will create something like a garnish that is really simple because it's staying with the less is more spirits. But as well, it will enhance the spirit itself and create another layer of complexity because the yuzu is a really good match and a really good pair with the mushrooms and the fungus. Excuse me guys, this foam is a bit not coming today. So why I decided to do this garnish is because I wanted to create a visual trick. So when you see it, this kind of foam on top, and you see the glasses, the presentation, you will expect, without knowing the cocktail itself, you will expect to have an Irish coffee. So your brain will prepare for something warm with whiskey and coffee, and instead, as soon as you're going to drink it, you're going to have an explosion of umami flavor with yuzu, with the awamori, and obviously with the porcini. And this all together will create a nice visual trick. So to conclude, you have in front of you the man naka. So man naka stands for, correct me if I'm wrong, midway in English. And in English, midway means that if you're midway in between 2 places, you are the same distance from them and still in between them. So this is, for me, remembering me, this moment, for example, when we were at the hospitality on break, in between 2 of our like busy shift, but yet we keep developing ourselves and pushing for new knowledge. It can remind you as well those moments in a plane when you are taking it from the departure to the destination and you're just excited for what can happen over there. but it can also stand for this moment when I was standing in front of you making the cocktail and you were waiting for it to just discover it. What I mean is that what matters in the end is the journey we are taking and all the things that happen in between. That's what makes us grow, and that's what makes us go and reach the goal we were aiming at the beginning. And that's it for you guys.
Extra straight.
That's it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And Simon, obviously, again, it's not his first competition. It's been doing some other competition before, included also the UKBG national competition as well. And my friend, when you're ready to go,
Yeah,
yes,
let's do this.
Adamo, yeah, here we go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. And I'd just like to say thank you for giving your time to come along and judge this competition. And thank you for introducing me to the two amazing spirits of Shochu and Awamori. I've chosen to use Awamori for my cocktail today because I wanted to play with the umami flavors. Awamori, or this one in particular, Chuko Yokakoji Awamori, reminds me intensely of porcini mushrooms, and the first time I smelled it, it reminded me of foraging for mushrooms in Italy about 15 years ago, and we ate them very simply. We just went and gathered them from the woods, brought them back to my brother-in-law's farm in Tuscany, and we just cooked them with some olive oil and some lemon juice, and it was just so beautiful. And that memory was kind of evoked by the Awamori. So what I decided to do with it is make a very savory cocktail, which was designed to go with food. So I took the strongest Awamori I could find. This one is 43% ABV. My customers like strong drinks. They like to be able to hear feel the alcohol. So we're going to use 60 mils. I'm making 2 in each, just in case. So the concept of Ma I find interesting and very challenging at the same time. So I went looking for examples online, which was kind of a massive rabbit hole to fall down. And sort of a week later, I still wasn't that much clearer. And then I heard an explanation which said that Ma is the holes that are sewn together to make a net. And then it all kind of made sense. It's like Ma is the concept that ties ideas together. So it's the way I took on it was, I haven't put enough in there, sorry. The way I took on it was to see the concept as being a fungus itself. So my fungal instincts with the mushrooms exist in kind of a weird netherworld. So they exist under the ground and over the ground at the same time. So the bit that we see of the mushroom is just the fruiting body. So the bulk of the mushroom is under the ground, particularly with mushrooms like honey fungus, where the honey fungus is actually the biggest living organism on the planet. There's one in Yellowstone National Park that extends to hundreds of hectares. It's just huge, but nobody can see it. So it's just this beautiful concept. And I also like the association with fairies. Mushrooms have got this thing with the ethereal world in Europe and also with the kami in Japan. And I just like the idea of that, what's under the forest floor when we walk through the forest. So this cocktail is supposed to evoke the flavors, the smells of the forest, but also remind us what's underneath and what's supporting it all. So my drink is called When a Tree Falls in the Forest. And it's a famous philosophical question: when a tree falls in the forest, if no one's there to hear it, does it make any sound? But I thought that's irrelevant as far as Mara is concerned. So I thought, what really happens when a tree falls in the forest? And what really happens is it gets taken into the forest and it becomes a growing medium in itself. It's broken down by the fungus under the forest floor. So it's in this beautiful circle. So I thought porcini mushrooms, my favourite mushroom, and I wanted to make a drink that would go with food. So I infused some Riesling from New Zealand, the Villa Maria Riesling, which is quite dry. Infused that with some porcini mushrooms to get a big umami hit. And we're going to put 40 mils of that. At this stage, it smells like a mushroom cup of soup. Which is a good thing. I like mushroom cup of soup. Yeah. Sorry, keep forgetting the third one. Okay. And then I wanted to explore my umami even more. So I got some tea and honey bitters. This is made for Fortnum and Mason by a company called Bob's Bitters. And I love Bob's Bitters, so when he said he was doing one for Fortnum and Mason, I thought I'm going to have that. So well worth the money. Really, really nice hit of umami and a tiny bit of sweetness from the honey. But of course, honey's got a lot more about it than sweetness. It's got beautiful flavours going on as well. And then I found a little Riesling and quince bitters, which is actually beautiful on its own, but it just picks up the fruit notes in this drink. Sorry, I'm not great at multitasking. I can't count and pour at the same time. So, what I was aiming for was to evoke the flavours, the taste, the sense of tranquility and continuity that you get in the forest. And I'm hoping that I've done that. I set out to make a drink that would go really well with food. This does go really, really well with food. And also the pouring technique, the throwing from tin to tin, also helps the wine to open up. It allows the wine to oxidize, but I don't want to super chill it because I want those porcini flavors to be massive. I want them to be really huge. So we're going to do the first one. There we go. So. So when I was thinking how to present the drink, I wanted to remind you of the mushrooms on the forest floor. So I've got some little tiny mushrooms, some enoki mushrooms, and I've planted them in a forest floor made with the Ferranadria recipe microwave sponge, which is great. 15 seconds for a sponge, that's what I like. I hate waiting. You can eat the garnish, but the decoration, but it's not great, to be fair. Okay. And then this garnish I do recommend that you eat. So this is a little porcini mushroom, a little strip of dried porcini, which has been marinated in Riesling. And then I'm just going to put one single drop of white truffle oil on it. So maybe taste the drink, then eat the garnish, because white truffle oil tends to dominate everything it touches. So, when a tree falls in the forest, even if no one is there to see it, it still becomes part of the forest and remains part of the forest. And that is thanks to the mushrooms and the fungi and the molds and the spores and the creatures that exist in that sub-forest floor. Oops. Forgot a garnish. Oops. Thank you. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And now our fourth competitor is Samuele Cucino from the Besley Man Hotel, Stafford-upon-Avon. And Samuele, in this occasion, like UKBG competition, I always have the pleasure to engage with the competitors in the backstage, doing some questions, also to knowing them a little bit better. Samuele is basically a nice Italian guy coming from the nation of Polenta, La Valsugana, in Trentino. I asked him if his drinks, talking about Onami, was inspired by Polenta as well. He said definitely not. But he's a bit nervous. Then we to do something to make him a little bit more relaxed. On my 3, 1, 2, 3. Ciao, Mama! Here we go.
Okay. Yep. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Samuele Cucino. Thanks to Salvatore who present me. I really feel honored to stand here in front of you today to present you my cocktail. And I would like to thank the UKBG and the JSS Association, first of all, for this splendid day, and to have brought this Japanese product here in England to me. I wouldn't have found it out otherwise. This Japanese product, shochu, this concept of ma, and this challenge to create a cocktail represent those two together. After the seminar we had with Don Lee, I was kind of like, too much information, with a lot of information, but trying to figure out what was the thing. So I started with the concept of ma, one at a time. Ma, it's a really simple thing, but at the same time very complicated for myself. The concept of ma, it's mean in between of things. So I find ma in the silence between musical notes. I find ma in the space, in the negative space between two pieces of art. It is what it makes them showing off. Okay? And also, when I was looking to understand what ma concept is, I got into engineering and building houses videos. And they actually represent ma because it's the space in between the building and the nature around it. So that's ma. They're trying to find the perfect ma also in buildings. That's crazy. I'm loving it. I mean, they put so much passion. They're so into it. And that's why I fell in love with Japanese products. I'm using today Honkaku Shochu, which is a shochu based with rice. And thinking about it, that from a piece like this, rice, and they're gonna get a nice product like this, I mean, that's out of mind. But I'm now gonna talk you through about shochu history. Shochu has a 500 years old history, okay? It was written for the first time on a book by a sailor, Portuguese sailor, George Alvaros, who was visiting the southern of Japan, and he stayed there for 6 months. So there were some builders building a temple for a priest, doing some working there, and they were complaining because the priest didn't offer them even a glass of shochu. And they were complaining about it. And it's so related to us, because when you see builders or you go and work somewhere, they normally offer you at least a glass of water or a beer or a coffee to make you feel good. And so the original place where shochu came from, it's Kuma district in the Kumamoto prefecture in Kyushu region of southern Japan. Now shochu is mainly made with white koji and black koji, differently to the yellow koji that is mostly used for the sake, which is the bigger production is in northern Japan. The reason why they're using white koji and black koji is because the koji is very acidic, and when they start the fermentation, the acidity of it keeps the bacteria away. But why? Because the southern Japan can hit 38 to 40 degrees in the summer, so therefore having a fermentation at room temperature is not that easy to keep the bacteria away. So they're using koji, and the acidity, it keeps the yeast but get rid of the bacteria. So in this case, I'm using Toyonaga Shochu, Honkaku Shochu. Toyonaga is an award-winning distillery, and is located in Kumamoto Prefecture, in Kuma District, in Hitoyoshi Basin, just right on the east edge of it, up of the river. Their characteristic is that they're using all the organic rice and they're producing it from themselves. They burned the distillery in 1893. Now they are on the fourth head ownership. And what they did to have this organic rice growing, the first 10 years they were keep weeding the land. They keep weeding the land, and then the land itself creates some organics who were keeping the weeds away. So they start growing rice. So they're growing the rice, then they're using white koji. So what they do for the procession of the distillation, they do two fermentation called shikomi. For shikomi, it's used with white koji, and they put white koji over steamed rice, yeast, and water, and they start a fermentation, which is allowed to grow more yeast in the shikomi. After that is done, it gets called moromi. Then they do the second fermentation, which they add steamed rice in it, the proper full rice, and it gets all the fermentation. Then it gets distilled. They're not using it an atmospheric distillation like we do normally. They're using a particular distillation. It's called vacuum distillation, pressured distillation, which is reduced, put down the boiling temperature point to get an element in the end which will be more gentle, more elegant, and more floral, which is what we have here now. So there is many things to talk about shochu. Now I'm using 60 milliliter of shochu per serve. Okay, here is now on the name I call them memories. Okay, it might sound a little bit, but that's what I got when I drank it. Okay, it was can't deny it's been hard to figure out what to use. And the funny thing was I do have a challenge with a usual guest in house, and we always every week we pull up 2 different ingredients, and I got to find a third one to make a cocktail out of it. So when last we seen, we were left. He was left me with coconut syrup. So after I came back from my holiday, then I go into the shochu seminar, and I was like, hey, wait a second, I'm gonna use shochu. Combined with fresh pomegranate juice, which actually create also at the same time a healthy drink. Because pomegranate is full of vitamin C, good for the body. Shochu and awamori as well, they're full of an element which help the enzyme ucorince to prevent the strokes and heart attack. So it's kind of like a healthy drink. Get my glasses. I think I found the concept of ma in everything. I mean, thinking, okay, shochu, concept of ma, stop and think of what you're doing. I mean, it's a deal. You get to, and actually in Japan, silence is considered wisdom. If you are able to stay silent sometimes, because it's better sometimes to say nothing. That's considered wisdom. And I find ma also in the using of the throwing, because if my cocktail represents ma, then we have 2 pieces of art and a thing in between. Thank you. Thank you. So the only thing was left is whenever I think about rice, it comes up to my mind a classic risotto we do in Italy. It's called risotto milanese, and it's made with saffron. Okay, so today I come here and I made a nice saffron ice ball. Okay, it might sound, but it actually tastes nice. And the idea is also that you can really feel the concept of ma in this cocktail, because you can drink it twice. You can have a sip now, but then if you stop and think, the ice will melt slowly. It will create nice sunset color, and it will change the flavor as well. So like he did to me, I will hope that you will bring back memories, good memories, like a cuddle from your mom, or the warmest of a sunset. Memories. Phew. Should I take it to the judges?
Yes, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, just would like to remind you that we're going to have a 1 hour break. Then basically, see you soon, 1:30.
Thank you.
1 hour later.
From Newcastle, he's running an Asian restaurant bar called Sohe. His name is Oscar McClure. Big applause for him because it's the very first ever competition, big competition in London. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Vamos. 1, 2, 3, go. 12 minutes.
We good? Okay. はじめまして。私はソーヘイニューカッスルのマックルア・オスコと申します。2020年から2019年から2020年に東京に住んでいたところ、芋焼酎を見つけました。この後で、本当に、大好きです。よろしくお願いします。はい。
I'm impressed.
So,
From Newcastle as well.
yeah. So between 2019 and 2020, so sort of mid-COVID era, I was living in Tokyo, and it was during that time that I actually found particularly emo shochu. I used to drink it quite often to get through the pandemic, and preferably over on the rocks, over ice. So that is why I chose to go with the emo shochu on this competition. We all tasted the Kuro Kirishima on our lecture, and unfortunately I couldn't actually find Kuro Kirishima. But what I do have is Kuro Yokaichi. It is still from a similar area of Japan. It's still from Kyushu, down the bottom of it. It is 25% ABV. It's also still made with black koji, like a lot of Kuro, how do we call it? Emo shochu is made with. And it's done at atmospheric pressure, which creates a bit more of a full-bodied and earthy, very umami flavour out of a shochu. So I'm going to be using 45 millilitres of this, but I'm making 2 of them, so 45, 80, 90. Quick maths is not my usual thing. The next ingredient that I have is a sweet potato demerara syrup. It's made using a 1-to-1 demerara, and infused in that is sweet potatoes and genmaicha, which is a Japanese Japanese tea blend, and it's made using roasted rice in with the tea leaves. It used to be a way for people, even of like lower Japanese classes, to enjoy tea when it was still kind of expensive, because they could have access to tea leaves while sort of watering it down per glass with roasted rice tea. And that made a sort of, again, an umami and quite earthy flavour, which will accompany the emo shochu well. So of this, I will be using 10 millilitres. Next up is Akashitai Yuzishu. I'll be using 5 ml per drink of this, and this is in there to sort of freshen it up a little bit. I don't want to use too much, that's why I've kept it to 5 ml, because yuzu can be quite a overpowering flavour if you use it in too high a volume. But like I say, it adds that sort of freshness to the drink. It stops it from being too earthy and groundy, which, let's face it, not many people want. The final ingredient I'll be using is mirin. It is a Japanese sweet cooking wine. And of this, I'll only be using roughly a bar spoon, somewhere in that sort of region. And this just adds a little bit of sweetness and a depth of flavour to the drink that you wouldn't really get if you left it out. And then we're going to throw the drink 6 times roughly, and that'll just stop it from getting too diluted, but it also helps to make it a bit more palatable. I have chosen teapots to throw with, as well as they are sake cups technically, but they're styled after like teacups, which you often find in Japan, in especially like older style restaurants and that type of place. And earlier, one of the judges accidentally mistook it for a teacup and made a little coffee in it, and then I had to use the last of my 3 minutes to dart around and find another one. So I'm glad it's doing its job. There is a bit of a knack to throwing with a teapot, I've discovered. The first time I tried it, I tried to throw like you would usually throw, which is just sort of pour it out. And what happened was, obviously there's no lid on the teapot, so it came out the spout and then straight out the top as well and all over the floor. I've not gotten too much better since the first time, but we're trying, we'll get there. How was that? One more. There we go. And then the strainer I'm using came with a teapot. It's a pretty little strainer. It's used obviously to catch the tea leaves usually, but in this case we are going to use it to catch any little, well, you know what a strainer's for. Unfortunately, since they're quite small, I'm going to have to go through this 3 times, but I'm still on green, so I'm still good for now. So once again, it's the 45 millilitres of Imo Shochu. This one comes from Takanabe City, which oddly translates to something along the lines of big pot or high pot. That is in the Miyazaki region of Japan, Miyazaki region of Kyushu, like I said earlier, right down the bottom. Then again, it's the 5 ml per drink of Yuzushu. And the 10 of the Genmaicha and Imo Demerara. So while I'm going now that I've explained all of my ingredients, I will talk to you a little bit about the concept behind it. So to start off with, the tea, another one, that I used is locally sourced from when I lived in Japan. So not that local anymore, but I can go with locally sourced from when I was there. And that is in one little area of Tokyo called the Taito Ward. I've got 3 in each, haven't I? And that was just around the corner from where I used to live. That helped me to get the name itself, and I'm sorry, I actually haven't said what the name is yet, have I? So it's the fortune between the mountains. The word fortune comes from the tea shop's name. It was kanekichi, kane being either gold or money, and kichi being the symbol for either fortune or joy. So I chose fortune. The next part of the name, between, comes from the concept of ma to start with. So I went a little bit of a different route with ma than some of the other contestants have, and looked at the kanji itself. The kanji for ma actually is also the same as between. It's the word for either, so like this bottle is between this bottle, and therefore we got the word between. And then one last one for photography. Just enough. I did pan ahead and put just enough of each thing in a little bottle. There we go, easy shoot. Again, the shochu. And the mirin. Oh. Almost. This one's got quite a lot of ice in, and I don't want to over dilute it, so let me do it a couple more times. Finally, I didn't actually explain the between the mountains, did I? So the place that I got the tea from was a place called Yonaka Ginza. Yonaka meaning in the valley, and therefore we got mountains. Yeah. Sorry, am I stop? Am I done?
No, it's fine.
I can leave it. There we go. That is the fortune between the mountains there, guys. Oh, sorry.
And again, welcome back. Our next competitor is this really nice, shy, white jacket, the national champion UKBG. The one is gonna do the WCC 2023. God knows where it's gonna be, but here is Matteo Basso from the Prince Hakatoki, the Malt Bar.
Thank you.
You ready to go, Matteo?
Right.
Time to go, Adamo. Go.
Hello guys, good afternoon. Thank you for the nice introduction. As you said, my name is Matteo Basso and I work at the Malt in the Prince Hakatoki Hotel here in London. A Japanese bar with a strong focus on Japanese ingredients and spirit. The drink that I'm presenting today is called Golden Secret. Golden because I'm using awamori, that back in the days was a spirit reserved to nobles and king, so kind of a treasure, that's why golden. And secret because it's been presented to us by the GSS as a Japanese secret. And it's what it is actually, because it's not very common in this side of the world, unfortunately. It's a spirit with a very good value that we don't know yet very well. So let's see what it is. Shochu awamori are a very similar product, but with some differences. There's map between them, you know. There's space, as my colleague said so eloquently before. Shochu is made by white koji, sometimes even black, and a lot of different ingredients that are from Kyushu Island and the nearby island. We can almost say that every prefecture has its own signature ingredient. For example, we have in Nagasaki area, we have a barley shochu. In Kagoshima area, we got like imu shochu, which is a shochu made of sweet potatoes, and so on and so on. While awamori instead is from Okinawa Island and is made by black koji and Thai rice. What's the difference between those two kinds of koji? Black koji, while fermenting, produces a lot of citric acid that helps the fermentation in the warm and humid climate of Okinawa. How are those spirits made? Basically, they create a sort of a starter with water, koji, and yeast. As soon as the yeast is strong enough to start the fermentation, they move everything in the main tank where the main ingredients are, and that's how the fermentation starts. But this is a multiple parallel fermentation because we got koji and yeast fermenting at the same time. And we will end it up with a mash that has a higher ABV than usual, because we are talking about 15 to 20% in ABV, while classic whiskey mash, for example, is around 7 to 8%. This higher mash can be distilled only once to reach the goal ABV of the final product. This allows us to have some flavor and aromas of the main ingredient inside the final product, which is something not quite common. So we can say that, as I said, the terroir, we can call it terroir even if it's not the right word, but the terroir is very important for the spirits because the geographic area where it's made, it can tell you which kind of shochu or awamori are you going to drink. But let's get to the real business. So I'm going to use Arusame Miyazato awamori. It's an awamori made of Thai rice and black koji. Is a kuzu awamori, means aged for 3 years in clay pot. And I'm going to put it 60 ml. The flavor is very particular. It's umami, savory, very, very lovely. And in order to enhance this flavor, I'm going to add my homemade, which is a fortified wine. I call it fortified wine even if it's just dry vermouth cooked twice. I cook it the first time at 45 degrees with lemon peel and shiso leaf. Second time at 75 with nori seaweed and shiitake mushroom. So we're gonna put it 20 ml of that. Oh. There you go. Okay, and in order to finish the drink, we're gonna add a touch of maraschino liqueur. We're gonna put 5 ml each drink. Ooh.
And last but not least, we got teapot bitter. I'm ready to go. Not the last one. Thank you, guys. Okay. I finished the drink. So, let me get. As you will see now, another reason for the name, obviously, is the final color of the drink, which will be goldish. After the drawing, I'm also shaking the drink, as you can see. Ooh. There you go. So, one of the garnish will be a lemon peel that I will discard, and then you will have a service of, ice cream, rice ice cream, which I did cooking the rice inside the milk, adding some lemon peel and some vanilla, and then before mixing the ice cream, I had a bit of awamori inside. And another garnish would be caramel made of Okinawa brown sugar. So if Adamo can pass the drink in the meantime, or someone can pass the drink to the judges, I will ask them to try the drink while explaining the concept of Ma, because what I did here is, so as everyone explained already, Ma is the negative space, something that can be related to everything. Oh, thank you, man, appreciate it. Something that can be can relate to everything from the common life to architecture, art, bar, and kitchen. And the last two are my main focus point, because you know kitchen and bar have a lot in common, but yet there are some difference between them. There's some Ma. What this drink aims to do is cross the bridge between them using both technique of kitchen and bar, and create a kind of a very nice pairing, easy to replace. What I did here is the ice cream and the drink work both by themselves, but works better together. That's what Ma is for me. It's like taking care of what you're doing in the moment where you're doing it, and make that everything has a sense together. The brown sugar I tried, you will forgive me because my calligraphy is not so good, but I tried to replace to do the hydrogram of the Ma. It wasn't easy to do with the caramel, but I tried to do what I could. So it's the hydrogram of Ma is basically a door where the sun is speaking. That's the meaning of this hydrogram. So what I will ask you to do is try the drink first, then try it with only the ice cream, and last but not least, try the drink with ice cream and caramel together. There you go. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. A little bit of attention, please. Obviously, you had a beautiful cocktail by this. Our judges have been tasting beautiful cocktails for the last couple of hours or so. Then the next competitors is Oliver. Oliver is originally come from the Lake District. It's an inspiration to have him because finally, you know, we almost like first time we met in person because Oliver, one of those really those bartenders, they engaged with us during the pandemic and during our like remote session on Zoom, which various like masterclass on spirits, Japanese spirits, sake. Then basically he's been follow the journey since the beginning until today. It's a very pleasure to have him. He works at the Savoy, the American bar in London. And yes, and then Oliver, when you're ready to go, my friend.
Yeah. I mean,
perfect. Adamo, 1, 2, 3, go.
Amazing. Cool. So, I'm Oliver. Nice to meet everybody. So we've just had lunch not too long ago. You've all should be maybe some palate fatigue happening. So Adamo, if you mind just passing these to the judges for me. So it's just a little bit of a palate cleanser for everybody. So just a little bit of your yuzu, just some citrus, just to clear everything off, so that in the meantime, whilst I make this, your palate can settle back down, and we can start again. And I'm going to have one with you as well. So just whilst you're passing that out, I will start off. So as Salvatore mentioned, my story is parallel to the JSS. So I joined the UKBG online, meeting all these wonderful faces for the first time virtually, and I get the opportunity to now meet everybody in person. So thank you for having me here, and thank you for being able to meet the lovely judges, which I've only seen over the Zoom calls, so pleasure. So first of all, we're all here for Shochu and Awamori. So this is my wonderful bottle of choice. So this is a wonderful mild 5-year-old Mizuho from the wonderful BBC Spirits, which are helping out today. So we're going to start off building this drink. So this drink is called the Grain of Memory. So as well as my story, I get to create memories and have my memories of finding out about these spirits in the last few months. The whole point of this drink is so that I can hopefully invoke a memory from each of you, whether it's visiting a brewery, sake brewery, or whether it was your first time tasting sake shochu or awamori, or even, I hope for some of you, a childhood memory of eating amazaki. So we're going to start off with our cocktails, just with 45 mils of this base spirit. So we're just going to do 2.5 in each, just to make my life a little bit easier. Forgive me for any shaking or any spills. Just want to make sure that the angel gets their share during this. As always, making sure they're well looked after. So, London bartenders, the London scene, that's why we're all here. So just to appease some of the Italians in the room, we have some wonderful vermouth. I don't think I need to say too much about this wonderful product. So I should hope you already are all well aware exactly what this does, but the reason for choosing this is my base spirit has some wonderful floral notes, just a hint of umami from the 5 years in a jar, and this has got the honeyed essence, the floral tones to kind of drive that freshness out of this base spirit. So this base spirit that I chose, the Awamori, it's also just 25%, so not one of the highest ones, so it's more focused on being light and flavorful. So for this vermouth as well, we're sitting in around that 20-25% mark for the cocktail. Just adding in 45 mils of this and doing 2.5 measures, again, to make my life nice and easy. So we move on to the memory part. This wonderful little bottle of crazy white. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is that? So, our wonderful awamori over here is made from Thai rice and black koji. So I have taken inspiration from a local brewer, Kampai, here in London, to bring some sustainability and localness into this drink. So the wonderful Tom over there, he's given me his koji from his actual sake making process. So I've made my own amazaki using jasmine Thai rice, steaming it with bamboo in a traditional way, and then sous-videing for 6 to 8 hours. And then just for this, it's basically a 1-to-1 again with water blended, so it is the full amazaki rice in here. There's no straining. It's just addition of more water and a blend. So we go in with 20 mils for each drink. This is a very, very much rice-forward drink. That's why it is called a grain of memory. Again, to invoke that childhood memory of eating amazaki for the first time. Okie dokie. So we have the floral aspect, we've got the rice, we've got the awamori. So just to push that a little bit more, we've got the Japanese shisho bitters. So anyone who doesn't know, shisho is quite close relative to mint. So it's just going to power that back note, lighten up any of the alcohol in there, and give us a little bit of a back note of freshness. So we're just going to go in with 4 drops.
Alchemist training.
With, yeah.
2 drops of this, 1 drop of that.
Future doctor in the making. No. Okie dokie. So, I feel like we're going to be giving the angels quite a lot of share on this one, so forgive me. But just before I do, if you haven't had your yuzu before, I would just like to please share this with you.
Cheers.
Kampai, thank you very much. So we're all talking about this memory at the moment, which is part of the concept of Ma, which is what today is about. So I wanted to create that memory for our judges, but also the cup that you've just drank out of is a visual representation of the Western view of Ma, which is negative space within an art piece. So I have hand-painted your little sake cups with what is known as the world's blackest paint. Given a couple more coatings, and it turns any 3D object into a 2D aspect. So my original idea was to make that try and disappear within a little sake box, and I was like, no, that's too Western. So going down the whole memory route instead, which I think it holds a special place in everybody's heart, and it's, again, their journey as well as mine. Whoa! Nerves got the better of me there on the second pour, giving plenty to the angels. Just going to give this a couple of strains through because we've got 2.5 drinks inside here. And we're very quickly just going to go again with the second batch. Thank you. So just whilst I get my wonderful little glasses out for you. It's wonderful dainty glassware with an etching of blossom. So now I'm just going to pour these out and I'll talk to you a little bit about this garnish. So we're heading back over the river, not too far from home, we're going back to the Kampai Brewery. And now we're talking about the waste product of these spirits. So whether it be, you've been introduced to sake or shochu or awamori, they all have a byproduct. The byproduct being rice, water, yeast, koji. We hear a lot about koji. So basically what I've done is I've teamed up with Kampai Brewery. And yes, they specialize in sake, so I'm bringing all three spirits together, in essence. And essentially, I've used their waste product, otherwise known as sake kasu, which is sake lees. I've made a wonderful coral tule, again, going under that whole kind of trying to get sustainable, edible garnishes, just so it's glass, ice, drink, done. Nice and easy. So I'm hoping that there will be several elements to this. Depending on the person, everybody's taste is different, so hopefully you will all have a different experience ever so slightly of this drink. Alcohol, although it's quite low. I take inspiration from a lot of classic cocktails, making this drink obviously around base spirit plus vermouth or sherry and bitters, and then I've highlighted the rice note with the Yamazaki in there. So as this dilutes, it will become more fragrant, more fresh, and a lot lighter and easier to drink. So thank you very much. This is the grain of memory. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, Thomas Ryan from Exeter, from the British sort of Riviera. Apart apart the jokes, but I don't know if you've never been in that kind of on the part of the world. Exeter is a very beautiful little town in South UK, where basically university city as well, with a lots of young people. A lovely small cocktail scene, which is there are some couple of bars they are getting recognitions year by year. And Thomas is one of these guys that have been promoting the scene for the last probably few years, probably too long. Has been doing all sorts, doing world class, all sorts of competition. Then his here is not as his first competition. Then if my friend, are you ready to go? Adamo? Yeah. We waiting for you. 1, 2, 3, go.
Lovely. Welcome. Thank you so much for everyone today, for all my fellow competitors, for JSS for setting it all up alongside the UKBG. An absolute honour to be here today. I haven't actually, despite lovely intro by Salvatore, I haven't actually tended bar in probably about half a year now, coming up a little bit more. I've moved away from the bar scene to more of a kind of a host scene to enjoy some home time with my newborn child. So this is kind of a return to creature comforts in some way. So when I heard about the competition, when the theme was introduced of Ma, that kind of triggered something in the back of my brain. I've just realised I haven't brought my jigger up. 1 second. Thank you so much. It kind of triggered something in the back of my brain from when I used to do martial arts, and they introduced me to the concept of Ma, and it was actually about, it was initially set up to be the pacing and the spacing between you, but it was more than that. It wasn't just kind of how far you set yourself so that you can reach the other person. It was about reading them, and it was about kind of breathing between the two of you and almost synchronizing with essentially your opponent, your enemy, but having that synchronicity that you can kind of like work together to a final cause, as it were. And that's something kind of like I wanted to build on almost, and have these slightly opposing flavors that kind of work together and, you know, move in sync and work together. So we've seen this product a couple of times today, but I am also working
with the Miyazato's the Kira shochu. So it's made on a small little tropic island in the Okinawa area called Naha. Sorry. Again, because of kind of South Japan's and Okinawa's kind of latitude in the world, you get a lot more of that kind of like tropics, and that got me thinking really about trying to, I guess, build a drink that looked at almost tiki flavors, almost that kind of like rum category, and how those can kind of play off each other. What I wanted to also bring into it was a little bit of kind of like English classics. So I wanted to work with some kind of aromatized wine product. For those that kind of maybe in the audience maybe haven't worked with the throwing technique, it works particularly well with anything kind of like wine in there, because it helps to kind of oxidize and bring out those lighter flavors without necessarily over diluting and creating those larger bubbles you get from shaking. It's kind of somewhere in between. So what I wanted to work with was the lovely Stones ginger wine. So in some ways it's kind of, the drink itself is a little bit between maybe a whiskey mac and a dark and stormy. So the name of my drink is The Breath Before. And again, it's a little bit kind of themed around that kind of martial arts aspect of, there's that deep breath before the plunge, before you kind of go into something. And I think that's, yes, it's in martial arts, but I think it's in kind of a little bit of everything, really. Even you'll probably see, and you've probably seen today already, just before everyone kicks off, they take that moment to kind of center yourself and you breathe in. And I think that's a really important aspect of Ma. It's that kind of like, yeah, centering and that space between. And the final product, I've got a kind of Canadian product, but themed around kind of Japanese flavors. It's called Mount Fuji Bitters. And the idea of it is it's a lot of botanicals that you would find around Mount Fuji. So it's got chrysanthemum, burdock, and my mind's just gone blank. What's the one? White peach. And chrysanthemum and burdock are going to bring those kind of like, again, those slightly heavier, a little bit gingery sometimes in the chrysanthemum. It's going to bring those flavors into it and kind of hopefully mesh those flavors of the awamori in with the stones and kind of end up somewhere nice. So as I said, one deep breath. And we'll see where it goes. It's been quite a while since I've thrown a drink, so.
You got 3.5 feet there.
Yeah! That's a nice estimation of my height, thank you. Yeah, exactly. This is pretty much it. Yeah, it's the best way of kind of getting the baby milk back up to the right temperature. It's just a little bit of ice, long pour, those small bubbles you really want. Lovely. So I'm just going to make 2 more. So in terms of specs, obviously I wanted to kind of like highlight the awamori and that be kind of front and center. So it's 60 ml of that per serve, and it's only 15 ml of the stones. And then the equivalent of about 2 dashes of the bitters. So the reason I use this particular awamori, well, all awamori in general, but this particular awamori, slightly higher proof in at 30%, so you're going to get a little bit more body that you would kind of
maybe be looking for in those slightly kind of like spicier, heavier drinks that you'd expect to see in kind of the tiki category. But also that black koji that's used in the production is going to bring in those citric acids that we've spoken about today. And that again is going to just bring that little bit of acidity and kind of make it more in line possibly with kind of like the palate you'd expect from a dark and stormy over, say, a whiskey mac. And one last one for luck. So garnish-wise, it's kind of a twofold garnish. I wanted to use a little bit of expressed lime peel, which I'll be doing in a second. Just again to just highlight and bring out those citrus notes. So I'm just going to express and discard for those. And then another thing that I think really kind of, in some ways, embodies Ma for me is in kind of Japanese cuisine, you have the, I'm going to butcher this because I'm doing it from memory, gari, is it, the ginger? Yeah. So it's just that pickled ginger. So we've just got, again, actually, the vinegars in there are going to just bring a little bit of extra acidity if you wanted to try those first. But also it's that idea of cleansing the palate, of being something in between and just kind of resetting yourself in between something. So it's a nice one kind of like as a break in between what you've had and what's to come. But lovely. So that is my drink all set for you. That is the breath before. What would you like to see? The bitters, yeah, absolutely. So there's Bitters, the Canadian company, came up a couple of years back. Yeah, please. Thank you so much.
Well done, Thomas. Thomas was our last competitors. We give it time to the judges to assess the last drink. We are basically coming back live to you, to the audience, at 3:30, because in half an hour then we're gonna assess. The judges, they're gonna decide with the scoring who is gonna be the winner. Then the winner will be announced at 3:30. Then see you 3:30. Bye.
A few moments later.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bartenders Broadcast Network on behalf of the UKBG, or United Kingdom Bartenders Guild. I'm Dean Callan, and I'm doing an ad hoc walkthrough of a venue with a wireless HDMI receiver that I've not used before. So hopefully it'll hold up, but we don't know. What we do know is that whether or not the stream holds up, any image you do get is going to be beautiful, because number 8 bar at the Londoner Hotel is absolutely gorgeous, and that's the reason we're inspired to do a little walkthrough. Now, I'm going to walk past Marcus, my cameraman. Say hello to Marcus, everybody. Hello, Marcus. And then we'll go look at the outside first. This is where the judges are doing their work, judging the competition, making sure that everyone's being fairly represented. And if you wait there, let's get a wide shot of this. Whoa. I mean, if ever there was a beautiful outdoor space for you to come and chill in, this is it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Nice tables. You could use this for a hot desk if you liked. You know, get involved in the day. I don't know what time it opens, but whatever time of day you feel like doing work, you can work from here. You wouldn't want to, because it kind of feels like the kind of place you want to relax in. I don't know if this fireworks, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Right, now, the judges are doing their deliberations, making sure that everything's counted correctly. We don't want anyone to see this. this is a top secret area. So let's try going through and see how the contestants are dealing with that nervous 30-minute wait before they get the results that they've been waiting for. Oh, yeah. I mean, we couldn't walk through without saying hi to Ash. Ash is our tech genius who has made all of this possible. He runs the decks, does the audio. This is a little judging area. You can see there's a lot of coffees here. A little bit of palate fatigue. I heard someone say, how are you doing, Matteo? You good?
Good.
You feeling confident?
Now, yes.
Who won? Does anyone know?
Yeah, we're not allowed to say.
You've won.
Ah, you all looked
You
at
stole
him.
the show.
No, wait. He looked down. So, he's like, I don't want to be humble about it. All right, so you're feeling good, guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Better now.
It's about the game, you know. It's all about just taking part, really.
Yeah.
I say that, but
That's what you tell yourself.
yeah. I entered a cocktail, didn't make it. This way. Look at this. Isn't it just the best spot? I don't think we can get out there at the moment. I think they're concerned about leaving us, unsupervised with such a beautiful view. We'd probably be out there the whole day. Like, it's a bigger space than I thought it was going to be. Look at all this space for activities. This is a great activity space. Part of me wants to take you to the toilets because that view is available from one of the cubicles, right? So just imagine you've had a long, hard day, you sit down to relieve yourself, and that is waiting for you, right? There could be no better place. No better place. I would save it up for days knowing I'm coming here. So I can sit down. The toilet paper is really, really good quality as well.
Yeah,
these are things people don't often talk about in a bar, but it's very important. And that was a quick tour of 8 Bar at the Londoner Hotel. I think we should put the bartenders, the men who actually work the space. When I say men, there's only men here, but I'm sure they've got a diverse cast. Morning. How are you doing? How do you feel about letting bartenders come in and make a mess behind your bar today? You alright? Yeah. You still cleaning it?
I'm still cleaning. It's gonna be a long day. Not for me.
What about yourself? You've been here since 7 o'clock this morning. Absolutely. I know. I've seen him here. Yeah. And you know the sign of a true professional? We turned up and he was like, espresso? That's what we yes. Straight away. I was like, yes, please. It's too early for me. How do you think today went? We're looking at that mic. Can you hear us?
It was really beautiful. Yeah, super interesting, like connect people from industry. And so we have a few cocktails as well.
That's a lot of us. Are they the Remy Savage, right?
Yeah, all of them.
Wow. I mean, my home bar has like this many, and I keep breaking them. And I'm like, I can't afford it. My budget's just not like that, right?
But I wanted to have behind your bar, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come visit. You should come visit. Talk about 8 Bar sometime. And you're working across multiple venues, though, aren't you? Yeah. Are you? How many grey hairs have you got? Look at that. Oh wow! No grey hairs.
I just started.
Look at that. All right. So, I think we're supposed to be doing a drink. Drink? Yeah. We're supposed to be making a drink.
I want to see you shaking the cocktail.
Mate, I can shake. You'd be surprised. Did you see it? Did you see the interview where a nighttime journalist asked Michael Jordan, so, you know, after all these years out of the game, can you still dunk? And Michael Jordan was like, what? That's a dumb question. It's like, Michael Jordan doesn't get dunk. I can shake, technically. Technically. But it's a stirred drink.
Yeah.
So I think Claudia was given all the details. So she said she'd meet me here, but yeah, she's got more important things to do, right? They might be coming back. Mate, you know what? At my advanced age, it might take me so long to make the drinks for everyone that she'll be here. Right? I don't know if this is still working. We lost So, you know, Don Lee was explaining how he made a shochu drink? Yeah. And he had like a purple potato?
It was ube, wasn't it?
Yeah? He made, so to give you the story, Miho went to New York recently and asked Don, you know, let's hang out. And Don said, of course, cool. And then they hung out, and Don made this drink. Miho asked him to make it for everyone. So he made a bottle of the cocktail and sent it back. She's flown it back. Probably didn't declare it. Just making a wild assumption there. And this is it. So he said to serve it over ice. But I mean, we have the option. These are the closest thing we got to a shot glass, given how much is in the bottle. We have the option of that, or I stir it down and we go stir it. All right.
Let's do the right way.
Otherwise, that would just be. Do I have to try to throw it? Is that what I did the shakers? God, I'm so old that like throwing came out again after I finished bartending. Like, I never had a Tinder account. You know what I mean? Like, I never had one. Yeah. I'd probably dodged a bullet there actually. To be fair. Yeah, I'd be dead. Alright, let's. Alright. I have no idea if there's enough in there.
I think he's doing for the bar. I feel sorry for whoever wins this competition because I feel like their signature move from now on needs to be throwing. Yeah. Like no matter what. Every video, every comp,
I the previous final.
Gabor,
I love the guy.
Gabor is yeah.
Did
he send
you
his?
He might be the reason there's throwing in this one.
Well, that's what I thought.
I don't know why.
That's what I thought. I saw it.
If he was here, he would have done it. Oh no, 100%.
He sent me a voicemail with his 4-step procedure for what his throw was going to be. When if he got
I was thinking to do it.
Yeah.
I swear I was thinking, but then I didn't have to go.
Come on. Can you press the #1 button? Oh no, leave it on fun. If you circle around. Yeah. Yeah, because the audio is in a different place. Stop together. From the front, I look the same size as everybody else. All right, ready?
And again.
I have no idea. He's probably like, that was totally not meant to be thrown. I'm gonna get an angry email from Don. I could probably get a video from him.
What the hell are you doing?
I was hanging out with some of the people from Don Lee's school over the weekend. So reluctant.
And don't forget the smile.
Don't forget
the
smile.
Ciao, John.
I don't get paid enough to
the competition.
Getting
smile money.
Don't forget the Amore. What is it? Open arms and love.
Should I try to put more in the shaker so that we can get out of here on time? Oh, actually, Claudia's presenting this drink. Now is the moment where you're going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble, aren't I? Go that way? Yeah. No?
You're going to talk us through it whilst
Claudia's got the explanation, which I was too terrified to read.
I will explain everything to you. I know everything by heart, obviously. Right, so we done a masterclass for you, and we talked about shochu, we talked about awamori, we talked about cocktails. So Miho's gone all the way to New York to grab this cocktail for you, and it's called Purple on the Rocks. So we got
it was a joint decision.
Clearly, you know, the rocks we left in New York, we just brought the purple. You know, so, make it enough. You
That's
know,
why
make it
she's the
enough.
president.
You know, we got everything together. So anyway, we got Imu Shochu, which is with the sweet potato, which is from Miyazaki. Miyazaki. Yeah, speak Japanese. Same as Italian. So then we got 200 grams of roasted purple potato. So they've been peeled after roasting, and then 50 grams of dry koji and 50 ml of water. So what Don Lee did, he vacuumed the sweet potatoes with the fresh koji and the water. So circulate at 57 degrees or 135 Fahrenheit. Your attention to details, huh? So anyway, you circulate at 57 degrees for 4 hours to convert the sweet potato into sugar. Sweet potato starch into sugar. So then he blended the koji, saccharified sweet potatoes with the shochu, and strained through 4 layers of 100 micron filter to clarify. So technically we'll serve into 60 ml of infusion over a large glass of ice cube, but we decided we're just gonna give you a little taster.
More people having a smaller
More
taste.
of a taster. It's becoming more generous than usual. Thanks, Oliver. So this is pretty much what it says, and this is one of the cocktails that he presented to the masterclass. I think it's a really nice touch. And
have you got any aquafabs?
Yeah, it's no. I mean, this is all the short glasses we've got, so I'm not even sure we've got enough. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 2 more.
2 more.
Here we go.
We like the other pour, though.
That's the presidential pour.
There you go.
Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Not bad for a speed challenge.
Oh, mate. That's the only thing I'm good at, speed challenges.
20 what? Less than 2 minutes.
Also for the guys in the back. For the guys in the back as well.
Yeah, okay. I think we've got enough. Yeah, we explained, yeah. Oh, yeah. Guys, I'd like to say... We'd like to say a really big thank you to Don Lee for getting involved in this.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually brought it with my suitcase.
Thanks, brother.
He made it last week,
I made
and
it.
then I carried it in my suitcase.
So,
and then he prepared only for you for today.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don,
Thank you very
and thank you,
much.
Mijo.
Thank you.
Is there any more left?
Cheers.
Cheers. Everyone's got one?
Sneak and Claudia, the sneak inside.
Who else is missing? Who else is missing? Anybody else?
Yeah, that's my It's already little.
Everyone's got one?
Yeah, this
is my
Marcus? Hey.
Wow. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Cheers, Don Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Cheers, guys.
Wow, really good.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the announcement of the winner of this fabulous competition. But at the same time, it's time for me to basically finish and give the word to our president, Claudia Carrozzi. On my behalf, I would like to thank you everybody for having me, and I would like to thank you all these fantastic bartenders which make this event so special, and our sponsor JSS as well. Then here we are our legendary president, Claudia Carrozzi.
Thank you, everybody. So I think it's the moment the magic moment to find out who is going to Japan, who is going to win a trip, a dinner, a voucher here at the Londoner Hotel, and who are the three that are going to have a very exclusive training with Miho Komatsu. So, before I'm going to announce it, I must admit, I was sitting with the judges and spying a little bit the comments and trying to find out what their thoughts. And I think they're really, really interesting. And I think there could be really, really a good value for your development. And mostly, you know, it was a very hard decision. Of course, the scoring stuck. But I think what I suggest once the competition is finished, go and approach our judges to get your feedback, because it could be a really good opportunity for you to grow and you know, to think whether you've done good, where you can improve, and any other question they have. So, third, with 454 points. He's also been on our national competition, which I was very impressed with his skills and the drink as well, which is Hyppolite. Well done, you made it to the finals. Well done.
Thank you.
So, you'll have a good training with Miho. I've been there before, and I'm telling you, you're gonna take something with you really, really special. So she's been a good teacher for me and a good mentor. So I'm very proud we can pass this through. Right, second. So it's gonna have some voucher here at the Londoner. A training with Miho with 460 points. We're talking about Matteo Basso. Well done. Very proud. So, okay, so we now have to announce the winner. The person that's going to take a very special journey, a trip to Japan sponsored by the JSS, learning all about the category. And obviously...
I'm a chaperone.
And obviously it's gonna have some, you know, accompanied by Peter.
A suitcase, actually. Light, very light suitcase.
It's a big suitcase, but it's light.
No, no.
And it's going to also have a training with Miho into, you know, very exclusive into Japanese category, which will send you some informations very soon. So the winner has got 471 points, has been following us since lockdown, since we start our journey through Japanese ingredients and the Eastern, you know, ingredients and whatnot. And that's Oliver from the Savoy. Well done. Well done. You made it.
Thank you.
So I can't say how proud I am of you guys making it to the top 3 and all of you for making such an effort and such work. I know all of you are the winner because you made it to the final, and I know it was really, really hard to choose. You know, we had to select only 8. We made a commitment to 8 anyway, a little bit too many to choose, but well done everybody, and thanks for coming here. It's been a great day. Right, I'm gonna leave the floor to our judges, especially Miho, Rie, if you want to come around and share some generic comments. We have Andy, we have Peter, if you'd like to have a chat with them and find out more about your scoring sheets.
Can we say goodbye to everybody on the stream?
In 1 second.
We'll say goodbye.
I want to stay with the guys on the stream. So, before we finish the stream, we're going to have a word from our sponsors. We're going to have a quick word from our judges. But I really want to thank the UKBG team for the amazing work they've done to put together this competition, delivering this amazing event. Thank Dean, thanks Ash, Adamo, Salvatore, and anybody else on the UKBG team, Lian, and all of you, all of the guys that can't be here. But I think I'm really proud of the team and what they can put together for today. And obviously, thank you all.
To the hard workers. Give your hard workers. That makes it all happen, guys. That makes it all happen. Yes.
That's the column there. I just want you to be. There you go. So I'll pass you the mic if you want to share some generic comments or your thoughts.
Okay. First of all, is mic on? First of all, thank you very much, Claudia, and what a fantastic competition, and especially in this wonderful venue. And I just do not know how to thank to Miho-san who organized everything. And this very exploring the Japanese sort of shochu competition is just amazing for us, especially Japan will be very happy. So on behalf of the JSS, we would like to send the biggest thanks. For me, it was the first shochu competition I judged. Everybody was just so good individually, so unique. It is very hard to say who is the best. But obviously, in order to be the ambassador, you got to communicate with the people, and you also represent Japan as well as your land from here. So, you know, it's kind of a combination, East meet West. It's very important. So thank you for respecting the our national drink, and I really hope this will have a long, good journey together with you. And thank you very much.
Well, what can I say? Bartenders, all right, needs curiosity and passion to succeed. So you have shown quite a lot of that today. So in my time, I've done many competitions. I lost a lot and I won some. But to me, it was a win. I was a winner all the way because I compete in a competition. I was legally, I could actually legally spying. I could spy on what the other people was doing and taking on board the things that I enjoyed. So I could do that legally, you see? So you need each other, guys. You need each other. Competition is sharing. It was about sharing the technique, the style, and everything else, and the knowledge as well. So that is what competitions are. And unfortunately, it's a very strange animal, competition. The more you, very seldom the first one wins the first time. Very seldom. But usually, the more you do it, and the more you understand what it takes to win. That's competition for you, you know, just in case you wonder. So compete. Do a lot of competition. Join competitions. And you succeed, okay? But the drinks were great. You showed great skill and knowledge of some producers and from the other side of the world, guys. I mean, you know, now you know, it's and you embrace. Some of them spoke in Japanese. There was one spectacular. Yeah. Who is that guy? Oh, my God, wonderful. Well, he's hiding. He's hiding. Is it? Oh, well done, guys. Well done. My God. So welcome to this amazing world. God bless you. Take care.
Well, thank you so much for attending, everybody. And then it has been the second edition for the competition. from last year's lockdown, we have been doing the sake and the koji, incredible power of koji. And then that will be leading to this shochu cocktail competition. And I could see everybody of the level has been improving each time I see the competition. And I'm really happy to see the Japanese category growing in UK market. And I'll be very, very, very happy to work with you, every of you, in the future. So, and everybody today, one of them are very, very good about the category knowledge. Some of them are very, very good at the presenting. Some of them are very good at, with a presentation. So it was really, really hard to choose. But everybody did so well. And we like to welcome you, everybody, in the future to Japan. If we have the opportunity. So please keep working with Japanese category if you can, and then bring up the Japanese drink, kokushu, to UK market. Thank you very much.
So this is my first competition with the UKBG judging. My background was a lot of flair bartending, which a couple of you may know. Slightly different style of competition. But it's still the same thing that we see when we're doing flair bartending competitions. The more you do them, like Peter said, the more you're going to feel owning that station when you're doing it. So it's just practice, practice, and the confidence will come. So for those of you guys that felt a little bit nervous doing it, just keep going. Keep pushing yourself forward, and you're going to present and become awesome bartenders. It was really, really good to see today. Well done, guys. Well done.
Right, I love the feedback from the judges. I think that was constructive. What is it? Oh, great. So something appeared here that I should hand to our winner. So you can keep it in your office or in a bar or wherever that's going to be in a Savoy. But I just wanted to give you this for you. Certify you the winner.
You're supposed to stay here. You're the vice president. Come here. What are you hiding?
Right, okay, it's fine. Yeah, I was hiding on the side. I have to make a catch. That's for the voucher. I don't even call it anymore. Matteo, so I really, really hope you are going to enjoy your time here at the Londoner. And whenever you come, that's what you need to show. Brilliant. So, and for the rest, trainings, Hebrew, Matteo, Oliver, we're just going to tell you the dates. If that's not going to work, we'll find another date. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, so stay tuned, check your emails. Don't do like me, right? Right, guys, have some drink over there. And thank you all for coming. And I hope to see you all soon. Woo! Done.